It is starting. 1 second. Started. Guru.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Sarva Lokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nithaye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Ganana Antva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् श्रीमन्महागणपतये नमः प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजतागन्तु यज्ञं वाग्देव्यै नमः हरिः ओम् Ellargu namaskara. I'm going to speak in English so that all the people can understand even though they don't understand Kannada. Today we are having Dr. Kavi Mahesh. Kavi Mahesh has been a good friend of mine from a long time. He is also the nephew of Sringagiri Kavi Narasimha Sharma, one of the renowned scholars, and he has been a professor at the PES University, PES Institute of Technology in the past, and recently he has taken over as the director of the Indian Institute of Information Technology, Dharwad. He has previously worked at Infosys, Oracle, and PES University, as I had mentioned. He has an MTech degree from IIT Bombay and a PhD in computer science from Georgia Tech, USA. He hails from Sringeri and he is interested and also prolific in Veda, Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta particularly, and Jyotish Shastra and Vyakarana. He recently has spearheaded and developed a web application, and that is http://astrolytics.co.in, and he has attempted to leverage data analytics along with astronomy and try to organize a scheme by which he can get patterns out of the various things that are there and remove the myth that the birth is a random process and that the things that people are experiencing are not as random as today's Nastikas believe, and bring Satvika Vritti, which is there in the Sanatana Dharma, into the minds of the people, the young citizens. So we have with us Dr. Kavi Mahesh. He's going to talk to us on the topic of how to read Panchanga, and under the topic of Jyotish Shastra, the Indian astronomy, and the calendar system, which is the Panchanga. Over to Kavi Mahesh. All of you keep your videos on off and keep your microphones on mute unless you have to ask questions, and probably we'll do that towards the end. Make a note of your questions that you need to ask. Over to you, Kavi Mahesh.
Dhanyavadagalu. Thank you for that very kind introduction and this opportunity to speak to all of you. Jyotish Shastrad Bagge Matadvaga, we have a couple of invocation slokas that we normally chant. So I will just chant these quickly. Yatha Shikhamayuranam Naganam Manayo Yatha Tadvad Vedanga Shastranam Ganitam Murdhani Sthitam Achintya Vyakta Rupaya Nirgunaya Gunatmane Samasta Jagadadhara Murtaye Brahmane Namaha. So we have all heard of Panchanga, right? So Pancha means 5, Anga means parts. So it is something made up of 5 parts, right? So we will today take this example. This is the sheet of the current Panchanga, Onti Koppal Panchanga. It's in Kannada, but if some of you cannot read Kannada, that is fine. I will read it out and explain it in English as well. So we will try to understand what are these Pancha-angas, what do they mean, and how are they presented to us in this book that we traditionally call the Panchanga. It is essentially the Indian calendar system. It's a highly scientific system. We are made up of these 5 elements, right? Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, and Karana. These are the 5 parts, 5 angas of Panchanga. There are slokas for all of that. So we will not go into the details of the slokas and so on. Like in our tradition, this says just listening to that every day will give you the phala equivalent to Ganga Snana. So Titirvarascha Nakshatram Yoga Karanam Evacha Panchangam Shunute Nityam Ganga Snana Phalam Labhet. So just knowing these things and hearing it every day is good for you. Right? So this calendar system is in fact a highly scientific and astronomically valid calendar system. If the calendar system that we have inherited from our British legacy, the English calendar, has many aspects which are arbitrary. Right? For example, why are there 28 days in February and 31 days in March? All these are arbitrary. Whereas our system is a highly scientific and an accurate integration of the solar and lunar calendars. Sauramana, Chandramana, Eradu Paddhatinu Seri, they have created this Panchanga system. So let us start with an example. Let me see if I can enlarge this actually, then it will be better. Yeah. So if we take today's entry here, today is July 2nd. On the second column, you have to see the English date, right? July 2nd. It first says that today is Shukravara. Shu, they write Shu dot, abbreviation for Shukravara. So we know it is Friday. So Shukravara, that Vara is one of the Pancha Angas. So today is Shukravara and this says Ashta. Ashta means short for Ashtami. So today is Ashtami Tithi. So we got the Vara and we got the Tithi. Ashtami Tithi, whether it is in Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha, right? So Shukla Paksha is from the day after Amavasya till Purnime, and Krishna Paksha is from the day after Purnime till Amavasya. So Purnime is included in Shukla Paksha, Amavasya is included in Krishna Paksha. So if it says Ashtami, how do I know which Paksha it is? That is given at the top of the page. In fact, each page is for one Paksha. So this page, which is from June 25th till July 9th in the English calendar dates, this is for Plavanama Samvatsara, Uttarayana, Grishma Rutu, Jyeshtamasa, Krishna Paksha. This is what we chant in the form of Deshakala Sankirtana, or what is commonly called Sankalpa. So when we do the Sankalpa, the things that we chant are this: Samvatsara, Ayana, Rutu, Masa, Paksha. So in the Chandramana system, we are currently in Grishma Rutu, Jyeshtamasa, Krishna Paksha, and in that today is Ashtami. Then I hope you're able to see this. After that Ashtami, it gives a number 2852, 28-52. That is how much of that Ashtami is remaining. Even that is given in Ghalige and Vighalige, or in Ghatika and Vighatika, it is called. Right? So what exactly is that? That's a division of time. In our system, now we are used to dividing one day into 24 hours of 60 minutes each. You just invert it and divide the day into 60 parts of 24 minutes each. That is Ghalige in Kannada, or Ghatika or Ghati, it is called. So what this is telling is Ashtami Tithi will be present today for 28 Ghalige, 52 Vighalige. And for our convenience, that is translated to English time and given in brackets as Sayankala 5, Sa 5-38. That means Ashtami was there till evening 5:38. Actually, now it is no longer Ashtami. At this moment, it is Navami. Ashtami is over and Navami has started. Right? So that is Tithi. But what does it all mean? So it's in fact very interesting astronomy behind this. Each Tithi is nothing but 12 degrees of separation between the positions of the sun and the moon. Right? We call it the angular position or the longitude. So you take the position where sun is today or at this moment, take the position where the moon is, subtract that, divide by 12. That is the Tithi. So because the sun is moving, or actually the earth is moving around the sun, but from the point of we being located on the earth, it looks like the sun is moving. And then the moon is also moving. So because of the astronomy of all of this, the moon moves much faster than the sun, right? In every masa, in every month, it goes around the earth once, whereas the earth goes around the sun once in a year. So because of all this difference in angles of the sun and the moon, whenever it crosses each 12 degrees, the next Tithi starts. So the Tithi can start at any moment of the day, right? It is not always at sunrise or midnight or anything like that. That's a very important difference. To simplify, you could have said, oh, it's only at midnight or only at sunrise, but we have kept it true to the astronomy, accurate. So here what they're telling us is that today moon will cross that position where Ashtami will end at 5:38 p.m. or 28 Galiges, 52 Vigaliges after today's sunrise time. And then Navami will start. Right? That is how Tithi is given. So normally what we do is a convention that is useful to know is for any festival or in fact for even for something like the Tithi of your date of birth and so on, the Tithi that existed at sunrise time is considered. That is what is given in the Panchanga. So when we say today is Ashtami, we mean that at sunrise time today it was Ashtami, although now it is Navami. And we count a day from sunrise to sunrise. There is no concept of midnight. There is no 12 midnight and so on. So this Tithi will be valid till tomorrow's sunrise. Tomorrow's sunrise, July 3rd, it will be Navami. 4th, it is Dashami, like that. So we will come back to this, right? Next, we will see what it gives. After saying that today is Shukravara, Ashtami, and telling us how long this Ashtami will last, it says Ubha, right? That is Uttarabhadra Nakshatra. Today's Nakshatra is Uttarabhadra. Again, for that, it gives how much time? 140. That means Uttarabhadra Nakshatra was there today for 1 Galige, that is 24 minutes, and 40 Vigalige after sunrise. So for our convenience, that is also given in English time as Bay 6-46. That means Belagge. Today morning up to 6:46, there was Uttarabhadra Nakshatra. After that, now we are in Revati Nakshatra. It has moved on to Revati Nakshatra. So let us go and see what are these nakshatras. So you essentially what they have done is taken the 360 degrees of the sky and divided it into 27 parts. So these nakshatras are not some physical stars that are located in the sky. Although there are, for most of these nakshatras, there is actually a physical star. For example, if we say Rohini, Rohini in English is Aldebaran. Aldebaran star is also there. But when we say Rohini, we don't mean that physical star. We actually mean from 40 degrees to 53 degree 20 minutes. That much of the arc of the sky is the Rohini Nakshatra. Similarly, when you say Jeshta, It is not Antares, which is a bright star. Or when you say Chitra, it is not Spica. Or when you say Swati, it is not Arcturus, right? So, in fact, it is this division of the sky into each nakshatra being 13 degrees 20 minutes. Why 13 degree 20 minutes? Because if you multiply that by 27, you will get 360. Now, why did they divide it into 27 exactly? Right? That is because the moon roughly spends 1 day in each of these. Roughly in 27 and a fraction of days, it goes through all the nakshatras once. So it visits each of these nakshatra 1 day. So whichever nakshatra the moon is visiting, or that means whichever of these parts of the arc the moon is currently located, that is today's nakshatra. So when we say today was Uttarabhadra, that means today's at sunrise time, the moon's location was between 333 degrees 20 minutes and 346 degrees 40 minutes. And when we say Uttarabhadra ended at 6:46 a.m., exactly at 6:46 a.m., moon crossed this position of 346 degrees 40 minutes and entered Revati Nakshatra. So by tomorrow, it will cross 360 degree and enter Ashwini Nakshatra. So the nakshatra simply means the position of the moon. So it's important to remember this, that nakshatra is all about the position of the moon, whereas tithi is the difference between the position of sun and moon. So all of that astronomy is built into these pancha angas. Okay? So nakshatra gives moon's position. Just by knowing today's nakshatra, I actually know where the moon is. And by knowing today's tithi, I know the difference between the sun and the moon's position. How do I know the sun's position? That I know from the Sauramana system. If I know the Saura Masa and the Sankramana and all that, that's a different system. From that system, I can know today's Tedi and Masa and all that. Right? Today, if I say Mithuna Masa 17th Tedi, I know from that the date, and that roughly matches with the English calendar system because it's a solar system. So the difference between the sun and the moon's position is what we call the tithi. Just the moon's position is given by nakshatra. Just a couple of other interesting things about this. Each nakshatra is further divided into 4 padas. You will know Chitta nakshatra, second pada, Hasta nakshatra, third pada, and so on. Right? So each division is a very fine division of 3 degrees 20 minutes, 3.33 degrees. So as you know, a full circle is 360 degree. So 3 degrees is a very small portion of that. And that is how accurately everything is calculated. Even if you don't do exact calculation, what is called sputa, even if you don't go to grahasputa, just if you know nakshatra and pada, you're accurate to the level of 3 degrees. That is how the system works. And interestingly, 27 into 4 also gives us our holy number 108. Right? 27 into 4 is 108. So there are a total of 108 nakshatra padas. That is also divided into 12 rashis and all that. We will not go into the details of that because that is not part of the Panchanga. That is more about the horoscope, the Kundali and all that. So coming back here, now we know today is Shukravara, Ashtami and Uttarabhadra Nakshatra. Although at this moment in the evening, it is Navami and Revati Nakshatra. Things have changed from today's sunrise to now. Next, it gives Shobhana Yoga and Kaulava Karana. Yoga and Karana are given. That will complete the Pancha Anga, Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. Right? So we will see what they are. For each one, it tells you how much time. So Shobhana Karana was there for 20 Galige, 14 Galige. Kaulava Karana is there for 28, 52, and so on. Now, what are these yoga and karana? First, we will take up karana because that is simpler. Right? One karana is half a tithi. Right? Just each tithi is divided into 2 parts. and each part is given a different karana. So it is actually 6 degrees. Right? Today, the phrase 6 degrees of separation is used in a different way in the social networks and social context. But for us, 6 degrees of separation between sun and moon is the literal angular degrees. That is 1 karana. So this is divided into 2 kinds. It's a little complex, but actually its purpose is very simple. There are sthira karanas and chara karanas. So what happens in a lunar month, in a masa, there are 30 tithis, right? From Prathama or Padya up to Purnima, and then again Prathama up to Amavasya, there are 30 tithis. If you divide it into 2 parts, you get 60 karanas. But they haven't given us names for 60 karanas. Instead, what they did is they created these 7: Bhava, Balava, Kaulava, Taitila, Gara, Vanija, and Vishti. Vishti is also called Bhadra. These 7 are Charakaranas. And these repeat. They repeat 8 times. 8 into 7 is 56. Right? So these repeat 8 times. 8 into 7 is 56. There are 4 more remaining, the Sthira Karanas. And those come always around Amavasya. Right? The Sthira Karanas are Shakuni, Chatushpada, Naga, and Kimstugna. These 4, Shakuni, Chatushpada, Naga, and Kimstugna, they only come around Amavasya. Rest of the month, these 7, Bhava, Balava, Kaulava, Taitila, Gara, Vanija, and Vishti, they repeat in 8 cycles. The time around Amavasya is considered to be inauspicious. I think just to indicate that they have given us this system of karana. So for any auspicious thing, if you avoid these 4 karanas, you are avoiding the time around Amavasya. So Amavasya itself will have 2 karanas, right? Each karana is half a tithi. The 1 karana before that and 1 karana after that. So essentially you're taking the Amavasya period and adding half a day on this side, half a day on the other side. That much will give you the sthira karanas. So this is fixed. Every month, the first half of, right, we will start from the other end. The second half of Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, that means just before Amavasya, is Shakuni Karana. Amavasya first part is Chatushpada. Amavasya second part is Naga. First half of Shukla Paksha Prathama is Kinstugna. So you avoid the second half of Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, entire Amavasya, and first half of Shukla Paksha Prathama. Those are the 4 Sthira Karanas. The rest are, so the second half of Shukla Paksha Prathama always starts with Bhava Karana. And it will repeat, Bhava, Balava, and so on. 8 times it repeats. By then you have come to the second half of Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, and that will be the Shakuni Karana. Right? That is how it is done. In fact, if you look at it from a physics or an astronomy point of view, they seem to have a very strong understanding of something equivalent to gravitation. I will not say gravitation because that becomes controversial, but they had some kind of a notion of influence of sun and moon. So Amavasya is the day when the sun and moon are together. That means the influence is in the same direction. So if you add half a day on either side, Amavasya is 12 degrees. If you add 6 degrees on either side, those 24 degrees, that means whenever the sun and moon are within 24 degrees of each other, that is the Sthira Karanas. Whenever sun and moon are more than 24 degrees apart, it is the Chara Karanas. Right? That is the system of Karanas. So we saw Tithi as the difference between sun and moon, angular position, nakshatra just the moon's position, and this will help us distinguish between Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, between Purnima and Amavasya. On Purnima day, sun and moon are 180 degrees. They are diametrically opposite. On Amavasya day, they are together. Whenever they are close to being together, we have indicated that using the sthira karanas. So normally when the karana is Shakuni, Chatushpada, Naga, or Kinstugna, you avoid that for any special occasions. Right? The last part is, so Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Karana, Yoga, the fourth part actually. What is this yoga? This is the most difficult one, and no, in fact, they don't explain this very well. They say it's very simple. Instead of subtracting the position of sun and moon, you add them. Add the positions, and then divide that into 27 parts. Just like we divided the moon's position into 27 nakshatras, there are 27 yogas. And so you take the longitude or the position in the sky of the sun and the position in the sky of the moon, add it up and take the sum. And of course, if it exceeds 360, you have to subtract. So there is some mathematics here. And then, of course, they did not create any complex mathematics. Instead, they will give us everything in terms of round numbers. They will say, okay, multiply it by 60 and divide by 800. Why multiply by 60 and then divide by 800? If you see, that is nothing but division by 27. Right? Actually, division by 13.33 to get those 27 parts. So to get those 27 parts, you have to multiply by 60 and divide by 800. But what is the significance of this? What does this mean? Well, that is fairly complex. And if you see the names of this, they have actually given names for 27 yogas. Right? So Vishkamba Preti Rajushman Saudavya Shobhana Vidaha Atiganda Sukarma Shola. So like this, the names are given for all the 27 yogas. Some of those names sound bad. Right? For example, Atiganda, Vyaghata, right? Vaidhruti, Vyatipata. There are some of those bad names. But not all the names are bad. The rest all are sound good. Vajra, Siddhi, right? Hariyan, Shiva, Sadhya, Shubha, Shukla, Brahma, Indra, But some of them sound bad. Vaidhruti, Vyaghata, Atiganda, Ganda, and Vyatipata. Right? So if you know a little bit of, if you do analysis of Vyakarana there, Pata means fall or something which is not good. Atipata means great fall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Atipata. You add V, another upasarga to it. V Atipata. Vyatipata is, great horrible fall of some kind. So it must indicate something very bad. So what exactly is that? There is no clear understanding of that. Why certain positions of the sun and the moon, in terms of this addition of their positions, have been marked as bad, and why rest are all good. Right? At least I have not found any authentic source in understanding the reasoning behind this. But what the Panchanga does is it simply does this calculation and tells you what is today's yoga. Right? In fact, if you go to the original text, right, that's maybe a discussion for some other occasion, there is a Patadhikara. All the, starting from, Surya Siddhanta to Pitamaha Siddhanta, all of them, right? Ruddha Vasishta Siddhanta, there are ancient texts much older than Aryabhata. And all of them have a chapter called Patadhikara. There they discuss only two kinds of Mahapata, as they call, which are Vaidhruti and Vyatipata. So to me, this system of yoga seems like a generalization of that. They have taken whatever is discussed there about Vyatipata and Vaidhruti and generalized it in a system similar to Nakshatra to create these 27 yogas. Right? So coming back to our Changa, today it says is Shobhana Yoga and Kaulava Karana. So just by knowing Kaulava Karana, I know we are not close to Amavasya. See, if you start seeing the next few things, right? So Amavasya is coming on 9th. 9th is the Amavasya. 8th July, next Thursday is Chaturdashi, right? On that day, the so Amavasya will be that day. I'm not able to read this properly here. Punarvasu Nakshatra. Yes, the page has got folded there. Let me look up the book here. So that Amavasya will continue on 10th, and that day Kimstugna Karana will be there. 11th, when the Pratipat starts, right, we'll start with Bhavakarana. So that Amavasya period will be completed on that 10th of the July. Let me just illustrate two other things, then I will close and open for questions or discussion. So if you continue, I did not copy that next page onto this slide. So in this particular Paksha, the days and the tithis are matching, right? So today is Ashtami, tomorrow Navami, Dashami, Ekadashi, Dwadashi. There is no complication there. But if you go further, on 10th July, it is Pratipat, that is Padya, Padyami, as we call it in Kannada sometimes. But 11th is also Pratipat. 2 days having the same tithi. Why did that happen? Because Pratipat continues up to 6:29 on 11th, and sunrise happens a little before that. So on 2 consecutive days, day as we consider it in normally, at sunrise time, it was still Pratipat. So both days are Pratipat. So that is indicated in the Panchanga by marking 10th July as Pratipat Dinapurti. So they will, in brackets, they will put Dinapurti. Yes. Because it continues until after sunrise on the next day. So you have 2 days of Pratipat, then 12th is Dvitiya, 13th is Tritiya, 14th is Chaturthi, 15th is Shashti. There is no Panchami. What happened there? So that they will indicate by saying 14th is Chaturthi Upari Panchami. So what really happens is, in that period, the moon is moving a little faster, right? Relatively, that is how it seems. And what happens is, on 14th sunrise time, it was Chaturthi. By 15th sunrise time, it has become Shashti. So that means Panchami started sometime on 14th and ended on 14th itself. In fact, Panchami starts at 6:22 a.m. on 14th and ends at 5:13 a.m. on 15th. As I said, we don't consider midnight. 5:13 a.m. on 15th is still previous day for us because sunrise has not happened yet. So this Chaturthi was present on 14th July at sunrise time. Then a little after that, Panchami started. It ended before the next day's sunrise. That is called an Upari Tithi. Upari means above or on top of. So Panchami is coming on top of Chaturthi. Right? So we have an example of, usually when there is an Upari, around that there will also be a Dinapurti, because the mismatch or the lack of exact matching between this 12 degrees of movement of the relative movement of the moon versus the sunrise times. Right? So we have this concept of Dinapurti and Upari also. So that normally we don't get an exact one-to-one correspondence between date and tithi. The other most interesting thing that I want to talk about and then close is this concept of Vara. Right? Everything else is astronomical. If you consider, why do we have a year? Because the earth is going around the sun, the seasons vary according to the year. So we have a Varsha or Samvatsara year. We have the lunar cycle, therefore we have Masa. In that we have two waning and waxing periods. So we have Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha. Then we have the 27 nakshatras because the moon seems to visit them. Everything is according to astronomy. Where did this idea of 7-day weekly cycle come from? Is this a foreign idea or is this part of our Sanatana tradition? Right? Why do we have them? In fact, in our schools, they never told us why today is Friday and why tomorrow is Saturday. Why does Monday come after Sunday? Why does Tuesday come after Monday? Nobody told us this, and we probably never asked because we were just made to learn all this by heart. Right? It's only in our tradition that we have a reasoning behind this. And that reasoning will also lead us to other things like Rahu Kala, Yamaganda Kala, Mrityu Kala, all of that. This is the basis, right? So why this weekly order? I have a shloka here somewhere. Yeah, this one. Saptaite horeshaah shanaischaraadya yatha kramam shighraah shighrakramaat chaturtha bhavanti suryodayad dinapaah. So this idea of assigning a devata to everything is a very unique tradition of our Sanatana Dharma. Okay? They are assigning a devata or a lord to each dina, dinapa. Right? Dinam palayati iti dinapa. So the one who is the lord of that day. Suryodayat, starting from Suryodaya. Right? You take the Sapta Ete Horeshaha. Hora is roughly 1 hour, right? Word Hora has come from Ahoratra. Right? So each hour has a lord, but there are only 7 of them. Sapta Ete Horeshaha. So which are those? They are the 7 grahas. Out of the Navagrahas, Rahu and Ketu are Aprakashaka grahas. Prakashaka grahas are only 7. Those 7, starting from Shanaischara, that is Saturn, Shani, Yathakramam Shighraha, arrange them in the order of their astronomical speed, the speed at which they are orbiting. Yathakramam Shighraha, then Suryodayat, starting from the sunrise time, assign the 4th one, Shighrakramat Chaturtha Bhavanti. So why should we take the 4th one? So if I start with Sunday, first hour, first hora, I will assign Surya. Adityavara, Suryavara, Ravivara, right? Bhanuvara. So I will assign Sun as the lord of the first hour after sunrise on Sunday. It says if you arrange all the grahas in their astronomical speed, the 4th one becomes the lord of the day for the next day, and that happens to be moon. Why the 4th one? Because it's very simple. If you divide 24 by 7, you will get a remainder of 3. This is the mathematics behind that. So you take the day, divide it into 24 parts, start assigning these grahas in the order of their astronomical speed, you will be left with 3. So the first hour of the next day, the 25th hour, will get the 4th one. That is the reason why we get Monday after Sunday, Tuesday after Monday, and so on. So the order is Shani is the slowest, then Guru, right? Then Mangala or Kuja, then Ravi or effectively Earth, then Shukra, then Buddha, then Chandra. Because Chandra is the fastest, next Buddha, next Shukra, next Earth or our Sun relatively, then Mangala, then Guru, then Shani. So you have to arrange them in that order and take the 4th one each day, right? So if somebody is not convinced, I have worked out all the maths here. We will not get into that. It's a very simple modulo arithmetic as we call it, but there is a very solid scientific reason why this order of the weekdays come, why we have this system of 7-day Vara. And I don't think any other culture had an explanation for this. So this also seems to be a contribution from our end, because as far as I know, only we have this concept of assigning a devata to everything, including each hour, each day, everything. So that is the basis for this Vasara or Vara. So very quickly we have seen the Pancha Angas, Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana. Right? I hope that was useful, and I will be glad to have a discussion or take any questions.
Is there any way, Kavi, we can remember the sequence of Rahu Kalas for every day? Any
yes.
trick?
Yes. I have presented that also. I have a table. It's very simple actually. Don't worry about the second part. That is for night time. The top chart here shows the 7 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I put it in English, simply Sunday to Saturday. You divide the day into 8 parts. Right? There are shlokas for all this actually. Bruhat Parashara also gives shlokas for this. I will not get into that. So roughly it is 1.5 hours. Assuming that sunrise happens exactly at 6 a.m. and sunset happens exactly at 6 p.m., you will get these divisions: 6 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30, and so on. For that day, you assign the Lord of that day. For Sunday, it is Sun, Monday, Moon, Tuesday, Mars or Mangala, Wednesday is Buddha, Mercury, Thursday is Guru, Friday is Shukra, Saturday is Shani. Right? The first part is very simple. Then assign the next in the same order: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The 8th one is always blank. Right? So if you start with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you just build this table or matrix. In this, whichever part is ruled by Mars or Mangala is called Mrityukala. Whichever part is ruled by Buddha is called Ardhaprahara Kala. Whichever part is ruled by Shani is called Gulika Kala. Whichever part is ruled by Guru is called Yamaganda Kala, Yamagantaka Kala. The good parts are the parts that are ruled by Chandra, Shukra, or whichever is blank. All others have some Kala, Mrityu, Yamaganda, Ardhaprahara, Gulika, and so on. So if you want to pick an auspicious time, it's fairly simple. From this chart, pick out whichever is ruled by Moon, Venus, or which is blank. Now, interestingly, there is no mention of Rahu here. Rahu Kala concept did not exist. Very, very clear. None of the ancient texts give anything called Rahu Kala. Rahu Kala has been added as one more Kala on top of this. I have not found from where. There is no, at least I have not found the shloka or the moola for that. So when in Parashara Muni talks about all this in Bruhat Parashara Hora Shastra, he does not mention Rahu Kala. So Rahu Kala is a later addition. For that, you know, right? Mother saw father wearing turban on Tuesday. That was the formula taught to us to remember which day is Rahu Kala, right? I don't know if I have, yeah, so here it is. The order in which that comes is Monday, Saturday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Sunday. So we were asked to remember this. Mother saw father wearing turban on Tuesday. Mother for Monday, saw for Saturday, like that. You can map it out and remember that. So, but the basis for that is unknown to me, if there is any basis. So if you add, superimpose Rahu Kala also onto this, you get this. This system is very clearly written in ancient texts. But
That's
Rahu Kala is a
last
later.
part, Kavi, should have been yes, I think. That Tuesday
Yes.
should have had S because this Bhanwara comes at the end, I think.
Yeah, last one is left out. So that is Sunday. Mother, so it is start at 7:30, or actually the second division, that is Monday. Next second, the division after that 9 to 10:30 is Saturday. So it's in that order.
Then after father, it says wearing. It should have been.
No, Friday father is 10:30 to 12. Wednesday is 12 to 1:30. It is in that time order of the day.
Just thinking that sloka, that trick was given separately, differently. Mother
Right.
saw father wearing the is for Thursday. That is missed, I think.
Right, right. So
Thursday
that,
missed out.
but Rahu Kala itself, the basis is not known. Right?
Okay, fine. Good.
The concept of Rahu and Ketu are there. Tamograha, they are called Tamograha, but Tamograho. But Rahu Kala, I have not seen anywhere, but it has come into our practice. The only thing to note here is, if you want to calculate Rahu Kala or any of these Kalas, you should use the actual sunrise and sunset time and divide that into 8 parts. Don't take this literally as 7:30 to 9 and 9 to 10:30 and so on.
Correct.
Okay. If there are any questions or any comments, any corrections, criticisms, all are welcome.
I think we will open the floor to questions. Each can unmute and ask one at a time. Whoever wants to ask questions to Dr.